Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to episode 7. I have to get that right. Of If This Canvas Could Talk. I am going to look for my friend Terry. And get her on. Okay, everybody. Let's see if she comes on. Oh, they're telling more people are coming on. Hi, Alexis. Welcome. Welcome. Let's see if I can get Terry again. Looks like, there she is. Okay. Hi, Teresa. Are you on there? Just waiting for Terry to come on. Hi, Genevieve. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Terry joined. I don't know why she can't get on. I'm inviting you, Miss Terry. Oh, it says you're unable to join. I'm not sure why. Terry, try leaving and coming back on, and we'll try to get you on. I'm not sure why. I'll try one more time. Well, I hope everybody's having a good day. We're trying to figure this out. We are talking about fear of missing out on this episode because we've both done some things in the recently that have had us in that mode of FOMO and what that means to us. And let's just say, let's see, Terry, I don't know how or why you're not able to join. I keep inviting you. I'm going to try to be patient. So those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeanette Bergstrom. I'm an acrylic artist and painter. And I started doing this IG Live with my friend Terry Wilson, who's also an artist. And we met in, oh, Terry, it just still says you're unable to join. I would, oh, she says it's not sending her request to join. How about if I request you to join and just wait for my request to come through and see what happens? I just sent it. See if that'll work. This, oh my gosh, technology. It's the worst for us because we don't know what we're doing. So we're just trying to make this work. But hopefully she can get on soon. Still nothing on her end. She's blaming it on Instagram. Okay, let me try it again. Invite. I invited you one more time. See if that works. If it doesn't, invite. It just says you're unable to join, Miss Terry. You guys, I'm going to stop the live and then start it up again, and hopefully that'll work. We'll try. Okay, I'm going to hang up. Oh, wait, what does this say? Accept. Oh, there we go. I gotcha.
Don't. Okay, as soon as you said that, it was like, okay, I better stop playing around. I'm telling you, it's Instagram. It's not us. I hate how all the things are across my face.
I know that's the problem with this being vertical. I think that's how it has to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
anyways, glad to have you here. So again, I'm Jeanette Bergstrom. I'm an acrylic artist and painter. And this is my friend, fellow artist,
Terry Wilson.
Terry Wilson Art. And we are doing If This Canvas Could Talk, episode number 7. And we're excited because we're still starting out, but we're excited about this one. We are discussing FOMO, the fear of missing out. So, and
it is a thing.
Yes, and how we balance it. So this week I did, there were 3 people that I follow, and they were all 3 having a free, challenge this week, but they were all having it on the same week. So I love them all because I've been following them for a little while. One guy actually was new for me, and I wanted to try it. So I actually didn't do any painting at all this week because I signed up for these 3 challenges, and and I ended up only watching like one day of each of the people because I ran out of time. So it was, but a good thing is as long as they keep it up live for a little while, I'll be able to go back and watch the ones that I missed. But it was stressful because I wanted to watch them all and I couldn't. So yeah. I didn't know what to do. What about you, Miss Tara?
Well, I was going to start with what is FOMO, because actually someone on my feed yesterday was like, what is FOMO? They didn't even know what that was. And I was shocked to see that because I thought, like, oh my gosh, I thought everybody knew what that was. But if you don't know what FOMO is, it's fear of missing out. And Jeanette and I have had this conversation a lot about, you know, there's so much going on in the art world, let alone our regular lives, you know, of stuff that we have happening, that, you know, you do have that fear of, if I don't do this, I'm going to miss out on something. And so we talked yesterday about the things for us that we feel like we're missing out on, which she was just saying one of them, which is, you know, the challenges that come up that other artists issue out, you know, that we as other artists watching them can learn a lot from them. But when you're doing too many of them, you get overwhelmed and you don't do any, like, you just get, you don't do anything instead of just doing something, right? So the things we wrote down yesterday that we have a fear of missing out on are knowledge, that we're missing a secret. That's what you said yesterday, right? That we're, if we don't do this challenge, if we don't do this class, if we don't we're going to miss the secret that they're going to tell us, right? And then the other thing was challenge, the challenges that come up because they're fun and they challenge you and everybody's doing it. And then groups, like joining different groups of people and the community of the art world. And then you get involved in all these different Facebook groups. And I think I'm in like 3 or 4 right now from different classes that I'm taking. And then that gets overwhelming because then you see what they're doing and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that. I should be. And it's just all different levels of feeling like you're missing out on something.
If you don't do it. If you don't do it. And I get that anxiety, like, oh my God, I am going to miss the one thing that I need to know, that I think I need to know, even though I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm afraid that they're going to talk about it and I'm not going to be there. So it's hard to balance out how you feel and what you need to do. And the idea that, that little secret or that little nugget you're going to miss. So it's like, how do you do that? How do you balance that?
Well, we're going to talk about that, but I feel like because we have received little nuggets from the ones that we've done in the past, I think that creates an even bigger cycle of FOMO because you know that there was something you got, and now if you don't join this one and do this or do that, you're going to miss out on it for real. And so it is a vicious cycle, and it eats up all of our painting time. Like you said, you didn't even paint last week because you were, you know, watching all of these things. And so it is a stealer for sure.
Yeah. But I do think that, like we were talking about, we know we want to miss out. Okay, so here's one. There's one that I was wanting to do, not last week, but the week before. They were offering a discount. So it was $200 off. It was a class, a limited time class, but it was about doing fine art prints. And I've been doing fine art prints, and I'm trying to figure that out on my own. And I found a vendor from watching other artists who they picked, and I like the quality of it. But I still had that desire to say, oh my gosh, should I pay for that class? Because she could have some amazing hint, because she's been doing it for so long,
Right.
that could save me like a bunch of time or a bunch of expenses. And I was like, oh my gosh, do I do it? Do I not do it? But I also feel like, because of my background in graphic design, I have a little bit of knowledge on Photoshop and Lightroom. And so I feel like I probably know a little bit more than most people. So do I spend the money? But I feel like I probably know already. So it was like, it was that thing, but it was $200 off. And I didn't know what to do. So I decided, and this is, we'll talk, Terry and I came up with some solutions on how you deal with FOMO. But I decided, you know what? I already got what I need to get the prints made. I've got my vendor that I'm using. So I'm just going to put that off until, you know, maybe until my print starts selling like hotcakes. And then I definitely want to figure out if there's a better way of doing something. Then I think then I would pay for the class, and hopefully she'll do the discount again. But
She
it's
will.
like, yeah. So you were talking about that people will offer it again. So one
Yes.
thing to not worry about. So
Yes.
talk about that a little.
Well, so my background prior to coming into the art world is in sales. I spent the last 24 years of my life in a sales organization and was in the top 2% of that organization with over 2 million people in the company. So I know sales. And when you see these things come up that we have FOMO about, whether it is a class, a challenge, and the challenges are actually, sometimes they are to get you, hook you in so that you'll do the class
Right.
when they offer it, right? So the challenges, the classes, and the groups, there's always a sense of they're selling you on what they have to offer. And they create a sense of FOMO on purpose so that you will take action and do it now. Because for them, and there's nothing wrong with this, because there's a lot of us on here who at some point eventually will want to offer a workshop, offer a class, offer whatever. And there's nothing dirty about sales. I spent my whole life doing it and it was awesome. And you can make a lot of money in sales. We're selling our art, right? So sales is, everybody sells something, everybody's buying something, no matter what. So there's nothing icky about it, but there are tactics that they use in order to make you to feel like you're going to miss out if you don't do it right now. I did that at my parties, and I will guarantee you though that I would say this is the special for tonight only, because I want them to make a decision. And then if they didn't and they called me the next day, I would still give them the special because I want the sale. So that's part of, I think, one way that we can, as artists, that we can, you know, kind of tamp down the FOMO is to realize that if the time isn't right for you right now, based on what your goals are and where you are in your art journey, the opportunity is going to come up again, because that person makes money off of your decision. They're not going to stop wanting to make money.
Yeah. Well, that's what I decided. That's what I decided about that the print class, the fine art printmaking class, because I thought, I know she has the class that goes on all along. It's just the discount was for a certain time period. But I thought, you know what, I'm doing okay right now, and it wasn't in my priority of things to get me down the road. Like we talked about this, like, you know, like, and trust artists, right? So the challenges that they offer for free, even though I don't want to miss out, what is good about those is it gives you a sense of what that person would be teaching you and or sharing with you if you did go into their course or did sign up for their membership. So it's a good way to try people out to see if you do like how they teach or what they're saying. So with her, even though I know her main business is prints, so if anyone, she's going to give value in that
Of
arena.
course.
But I thought at the time, now that I'm looking at where I am in my path, I don't necessarily have to do it right now. So I'm holding off on that. And that one wasn't a free one. These other ones that I did last week were all free ones. So I figured, well, I can go back and watch them later. So even though I wanted,
I do that too.
I know.
I have a running list of things that I'm going to go back and watch later.
I know.
Oh,
It's
well,
true.
we were talking about, so I think it was a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, you messaged me and you were like, are you going to do Jody King's
Yes.
3-day challenge? Or
Yeah.
and I was like, no, I had decided, I love me some Jody King. She is amazing. She speaks my language. Like, I am all about her. And so I was like, no, because I'm already doing these other things that I have going on that I have not had the time to finish and watch and do, right?
Yep. Yes,
And so I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then it started. And I saw her do the first thing and it came in my email. And I was like, dang it. I totally felt like I was missing out, and especially because you were doing it. So then I was like, well, I need to do it too. And so I signed up for it. And have I watched one single video? No. They're just sitting in my inbox.
I know. I only watched one of hers, but I loved it. But I just got it. I figured I could go back, but you're so funny because I could have told you too, but yeah, it's funny.
Well, but that's the vibe that they're putting out there, is that you're going to miss out on this awesome opportunity that I'm giving to you. And I'm only going to do it right now. And so you better get on it and do it. So you're like, okay. Now, one of the things I want to say, though, is that what I find for me, and I don't know about any of you guys out there and also you, Jeanette, is that when I do that, though, then I start to get this anxious feeling of that I'm on over. I have, not only am I sign up to not miss out, but then I'm missing out because I don't actually watch them. And so then I have this internal guilt of that I didn't follow through, or that I've got too much on my plate, or that, and then this whole thing starts spinning and I don't know how to get out of it. And that's where I'm at now, because I've got 3 classes I'm working on, at Instagram, a watercolor, and actually several others that I've been dabbling in and doing. And then now the Jody King thing. Then there's always the Nicholas Wilton, and there's always these things coming up. And so how do you balance all of it? That's the whole question of, I think we're all in the same boat. Yes. I don't imagine that the people watching don't feel the same way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for us, what we talked about is that we have to decipher, is it going to help me down the road? Is it going to help me either learn something? Is it going to help me develop a skill, like an art skill, like you're doing one of yours with a lady that's teaching watercolor? You're learning a skill from her. So either it's an art class or it's an informational class that helps you, like a business information, art business class, or like the print class, that was more information on how to do it. Or is it just interesting and fun? So I think the struggle is, like with you and with me, is to decide, okay, what is going to benefit me right now? Do I have to do it now? Can I do it later? Yes, it may cost me more, but is it worth it to not stress yourself out?
Right. Because, well, I had just had like 3 threads go through my brain off of that, of thinking about it. I was going to think, like, when you go to the store, or what if even if you go to the art store and you go in to buy one thing, And then they have the
That never
sale
happened.
rack that's
Yeah.
right there when you walk in. And you're like,
Yeah.
I didn't even need this stuff, but I have to buy it because it's on sale and maybe I'll use it someday. And then you end up spending this extra money that you weren't planning on. And then I have a ton of art supplies now that are just sitting around that I don't know what I'm going to do. One day I'm going to play with them. One day I'm going to watch the videos. One day I'm going to, and then it just becomes incredibly overwhelming. So that was, I think, your feeling of the class about the prints is that there's that pressure of like, well, but it's $200 off. And that's a lot of money
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure. And again, it's that little thing. Am I going to miss out even something that I don't know, that I think I know, but I may not, and it could save me, like just like doing the color editing when you're working on your photographs from a print for a print,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make sure the color comes out the way the painting looks. So you really want to be careful about how you edit that photo because you don't want it to look different than the original. At least I don't. I want it to be as
Of
close to the
course.
original as possible. So she's been doing this for such a long time. So she has settings that she maybe could pass on to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, should I do it? But again, I think I just analyzed what I was working on at the time and what was on my plate. And I did turn that one down. I didn't turn the free ones down, but I did turn down the paid one. But even with the free ones, I think that I always learn something new from them. I like, and the three that I did were the three we talked about. I signed up for Jody King's. I did Nicholas Wilton, and then there was another landscape artist called Jed. I can't remember. Jed Dorsey, I think is his name. I might be getting that wrong. I should have written that down. But his was fun because he was doing live paint-alongs, which just learning how he was doing his paint, and he wanted, like, you only had 30 minutes and you had to finish a painting in 30 minutes. So what he did to finish that painting in 30 minutes and watching what he chose, how he mixed his colors, what he worked on first, it was really interesting. So it's hard when you're fear of missing out, because those were some neat things that I learned. So I did sacrifice my painting time so that I could watch those paintings, but I only watched two of his. I watched one of Jody's and I watched one of Nicholas Wilton's. So I have, like, I don't know how many to catch up on, but I guess ultimately, Terry, we just have to decide what is the most valuable with our time, and not, and once you make that decision, not feel guilty about it.
Absolutely. In fact, that's what we wrote down as our solution and when we powwowed on Monday, is that it's very true. You have to, as an artist or as anyone who's doing anything in life, it applies to everything, is that you have to really know what your goals are and what your goals are, how much time you have, and what your timeline is of when you want to achieve them. And then as things are being thrown at you, you have to weigh them out, based on that guidance that you gave yourself of what you are wanting. And if they fit for that time, then great. And if they don't, you have to be sure in yourself and what your goals and achieve, what you want to achieve. You have to be confident in that so that you can say no. And just maybe I'm going to start just making a list of like the things that if they don't fit for that time, making
That's
a
smart.
list in a little book of like, okay, so next time when this one comes up, this will fit. And I think I think you said in Jody's class, she might actually teach you how to do a timeline and how to back out your goals of,
Yes.
what you're wanting to do, right? So
Yes.
then if you have that written out, you could see, what, maybe, Nicholas doesn't fit in the beginning part of my, this 3 months of my goal of ramping up for it, but he would fit in over here. So I'll wait until he brings that up again here. And
Do
then
it then.
you're not going to miss out because you're going to catch it next time.
Yeah. And one of my teachers that you haven't taken yet, Marisa Cummings. Marisa Cummings is an illustrator artist who's done a lot of stuff, and I took her business course for artists. And she's the one that told me that, and Jody says this too, that you plan out what events you're going to, or if you're doing collections, or like you're doing something for Christmas, you put that on the calendar, and then you back it out on when you need to have those certain elements done. So then if you have that laid out, then you can fill in with these free things. The problem is you don't always know when they're going to come up, but you can look at that calendar and say, okay, no way, I've got to be doing all this week, so I can't do it. But there's still going to be, ultimately, we're still going to have that nagging FOMO.
Yeah,
nagging at us, no matter what we do.
Yes, because that's just our nature, you know.
Yeah.
And again, all of the things that they're putting out to us have been designed to make us feel FOMO.
Yeah.
So if you are always reacting to what they're feeding us with the FOMO, you're always going to feel out of control, because it's a constant drip of the things that, you know, especially if you're following a lot of artists, then there's always something that's coming up. So again, it's just having the confidence of knowing what you want, where you're going, and then seeing how those things fit in and being able to say, not right now.
Right. And being strong about that. And that's the part, I think that's where the mindset comes in too on everything, is just to be strong and just say, you know what, it'll come again if it's supposed to happen. I'll see it at the right time. And you just have to trust in that, which is not easy to do, but
I know
that as well. Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It is not.
Now, does anybody who's watching have any questions for us? Because we are at 26 minutes, I think, Terry. So we have.
Where did the time go? My gosh, it goes so fast.
We just had said to each other that we wanted to keep this one to 30 minutes. So we have a little bit left, but we were having fun, and we were thinking, well, maybe we should limit it to timelines, especially when it's just us two.
Yeah,
and
for
maybe
sure.
when we have a guest on, we can go a little longer. But
I think we hit I looked at our notes and we hit I wrote down art, inspiration, information, technical info, and community. Those were the things that you get FOMO on. Oh, really quickly, I wanted to talk about community, because that is a big one that is a lot of FOMO for me, because I'm a people person. I like to be involved, and that gives me energy, right? But then I find that and I think it depends on how you're feeling in your confidence level in your art journey at the moment. But some days, being involved in all of the communities, those make me feel like super excited, and I'm like, oh, I'm cheering for everybody and I'm feeling great. And then on days when my confidence is lower, those groups tend to make me feel like I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm comparing myself. I can get into all of these different spirals with the groups that you get involved in. A group that I'm in where we're doing the watercolor, I see other people's watercolors, and some are absolutely like breathtaking, and I'm like, okay, mine doesn't look anything like that. And then I start to compare, and I have to realize, well, they may have been painting 20 years, I've been painting 2. I can't compare. And that's not I didn't take the class to compare, I took it to learn. But the groups there's a lot of FOMO in the groups that I have. Do you?
Yeah, for sure, because you're looking at all the things that somebody else is doing. So you start comparing, oh my gosh, like I should be doing NFTs, I should be doing prints, I should be doing more originals, all that stuff. And you start to see what they do or the quality of their stuff. And then you start to doubt your ability and your talent. So that's the imposter syndrome as well coming in. But again, you have to look at the benefits of the groups. Like that's how you and I met.
I know.
So that's
there's always benefits. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you have to weigh that benefit with the, you know, and what I'm learning is when I'm starting to feel that way, it's like to get off and then go do something, go paint, go do something that makes me feel confident, and stop scrolling through and watching what everybody else is doing. So it's a balance in that as well.
For sure. And you never know what someone's going to want. Like we are both doing this to make some extra money and make it a business. but some people are just doing it just for fun. So it doesn't matter what you do and how your art is compared to somebody else, because someone's going to like what you do and someone's going to hate what I do, or vice versa. They're going to hate what you do but like what I do. Like my sister loves paintings that are really more detailed and realistic, and I'm trying to be more loose and free with my paintings, but that's what she likes. But that's not necessarily what I like. So you never know. So all I know is that if it comes from the heart, you cannot compare yourself to somebody else, because what you do is special and unique, and it's only coming from you, and you're creating it from nothing. So nobody created that before you. So it's unique and special to you.
Yes.
So we have to remember that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what do you have coming up?
Let's see. I got asked to be a part of a pop-up in a really cute home decor store local to me. And so I'm going to be doing that in October. So starting later this week, I'm going to kind of map out my plan of what sizes they need to be smaller. And so I'm going to be just starting to paint some of those and deciding, you know, my style has evolved a little since I originally did my minis. And so I'm going to do some of those original ones, but then also spice them up with a little bit of what I've been learning. And so I'm really actually looking forward to kind of playing and seeing what I come up with. I've been painting so big lately that to come back to something small is going to be a little challenging, but I'm looking forward to it. Like, it's just something, I kind of think your brain needs that, you know, to keep it sharp. So you got to change it up. So it should be fun.
It does shift it when you're going small and then you go big, or you go big and you try to go small. It's awkward for a little bit until you get like in the rhythm. But so you said it's in October. Do you have the date and the
I don't have the date yet. And on my list of things to do today is to message her. They needed to just work out what Friday. It's going to be on a Friday for a couple of hours.
In Seattle.
It's actually in University Place. So going south.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm really, really excited. And this will be my first time like being out with live people looking at my art. So that's going to be a different experience, right? So that's what you have coming up. Talk about yours.
Yeah, so I am doing my very first ever live art fair in San Clemente, California, which is a little beach town just south of me. And they have a art festival the first Saturday of the month. And I'm going to be, except for December, and the 2 months I'm going to be at the San Clemente Art Fair is October 1st and December 10th. So if you're in Southern California and you want to come see some great art, I scoped it out before I joined it. But yeah, this will be my first time showing my art in public. So I'm a little nervous like you, a little excited. But I'm getting all my stuff together so that I could be there. And there's a lot of cool people that have their art. So I scoped it out to see who was all there, and there's some neat stuff. And of course, it's getting ready for Christmas time and buying gifts. So I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of people and they'll find some unique presents for their family, friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that in the future, I'm sure we have it written down on our list of things to talk about, but we definitely have to talk about the logistics and all of the things about doing them, because they are our first, and I'm sure that there will be people that will watch that they haven't done it yet, or they are about to do their first as well. And so we can kind of talk about what the experience was like, tips that we might learn that would help someone, because you are having to figure out, and this is something that I'm going to learn from you, because there's another opportunity coming up I have to apply by November, and then it's somewhere next year, but it's at a place where you can set up a booth and do all of that as well in the design center in Seattle. So I have to actually send them a photo of a booth, and I don't even have a booth. So you're right now learning how to set up your booth, what hooks to use, how to get them on there. So once you figure all that out, I'll be picking your brain on that too.
For sure. And what worked and what didn't work. Because this will be my very first, so I'm just trying things. And from what I read and what I saw, other artists do. And that's why I love doing these IG lives, because we can share our experiences with other artists, and I'll find out what worked for me, what was a disaster, what was awesome. Like I'll be so excited to share and find out, and for you doing a pop-up store as well. I think that's going to be so fun. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if
Yeah.
anybody watches that's really good at art fairs and pop-ups and has ideas and wants to
Yes.
come on and do a live with us, let us know, because we would love to pick your brain too.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, that'll be great. Okay, well, I'm so excited. I don't know
I
what
know you are.
happened.
You came back, you froze.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Technology. Well, Terry, it was fun talking with you again.
You too. Thanks for everybody watching live and those that will watch on the replay that we'll post later. So we appreciate your support, and we hope that something resonated with you and we helped in some way. So if not, we helped ourselves.
Always. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye, Miss Terry.
Bye, Jeanette. Have a great week.
Yeah, love chatting with you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.